How you, Leo? How you, mate?
Hey, did you just change the title?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I wanted to talk about that for a little bit.
Oh, what was that? I didn't actually know what it was, but I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but all good.
Uh,
What is it?
Um, it's we one of our partners uh created a meme, and it went crazy.
Okay, okay. What partner was it?
Vaporfy.
Mm. Cool, cool. That's awesome.
So that's why, and they called it balls on you.
Love it. Fucking love it. Oh, classic, classic.
Because
I'm literally just yeah. I'm literally just bloody finalizing the transfer of the funds at the moment over to
the
what
DAP.
was it? Yeah, well, over to fucking the wrap versions of the tokens.
Cool.
Does it include
Yeah.
some balls?
So yeah, I'm on the.
What did you say, Vince?
It better include some balls.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I know. I heard. I mean, if you're going to keep it on the same chain, you can mix, pair it with a cock.
I
Yeah,
love that
because the
cock
CO
and balls.
Cock and balls. Yeah.
the yeah, the COQ is INU, and then the balls is on you.
Yeah, then you could have the for the cock version. You could have the anteater and the German helmet um collections. Sorry, is that not a thing over in the States? What do you guys call a? I don't know if this is appropriate for a 100K Bitcoin, but actually, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I'll get myself out of the gutter before it goes too bad.
No, go ahead.
Oh, it's like when you're a kid over here, right? You either got an anteater or a German helmet. I'm talking about your penis.
No.
Um,
Boys
yeah.
have penises, girls have vaginas.
Hilarious.
Wait, for you guys, it's already hump day, isn't it? Wednesday?
Yeah, man.
See, that's hump
Honestly,
day.
I don't even know what fucking day it is at the moment. Like, because it's gone into as soon as school holidays is done. Because over here in New Zealand, school holiday starts at around December the 20th through to about February the 7th or something like that. I do not have a clue what day it is on any day. So, because every day is the same.
Sounds like my wife on most days.
It's like when I was self-employed, um, running my fitness franchise. It was literally just two types a day: work day or a half work day. Those were the two options.
Yeah.
Oh, good to see a few people joining us. Feel free to come up and have a chat about when you believe we're going to go to 100K. Just to let you know who we are, if you're down there listening, we are Dogface Labs. We're the world's first and largest veteran NFT community. We launched about 30 months ago. We've got a couple of sold out projects. We currently have our own crypto mining farm, which is being financed by our third collection, which is around 60% minted out. And we love freedom. We love the military and first responders who serve. We believe in helping them, and that is why we donate 10% of all of our profits to veterans. But we also are big believers in individual empowerment, individual sovereignty, and we know that if we continue to advance ourselves individually, then we can help solve some of these societal problems that are out there with regards to veterans and first responders. So that's who we are. I'm a New Zealand Army veteran, served for 18 years. I know Vince here, he can speak for himself, but I'll introduce him. Vince is a Navy veteran as well. I'll give him a Navy veteran amongst other things. And Leo is a long-term veteran advocate. Something exciting for 2024 is we will be launching into our food bank program. We're going to be doing some amazing stuff around that. So, yeah, but let's get into the discussion, Vince. Like, when do you think Bitcoin is going to get to 100K, considering that the halving is scheduled for summer in April? We know that that's going to have a huge effect on miner profitability, obviously, with the amount of tokens that can be mined being halved, literally, but that generally drives massive price pressure in an upwards direction. So when do you think, Vince, do you think it's going to be 2024? Do you think we should be looking further out to 25? Or do you think I'm just being completely unrealistic when I talk about a 100K Bitcoin?
That's a great question. And I honestly think that we're probably not going to see it, I would guess, until probably about the September timeframe of 24. And but we have some interesting factors to consider, right? Because we have all this chatter about this ETF. And if this approval goes through, which from my understanding, there's still a process to undergo. I know there was a lot of talk. We saw a lot of price action yesterday in Bitcoin. I honestly took some profits on my BTC to invest in some other tokens, because I look at it as, even if Bitcoin goes to 100K from where it was trading at, and I think I took profits right around 45 and 45,500 is where I took profits. Even if it were to double and go to 100K, I can still take that liquidity and put it into an altcoin that can 5 to 10x some low small caps, that if I sit on them for a year, maybe even do 50 to 100x, and sit on them for a year and only pay 15% in long-term capital gains tax, right? So, but again, there's some interesting things to consider. There's a lot of talk about the ETFs coming through. There's still some finalization of the paperwork that needs to be done. How much of that has already kind of been priced in, we don't know. Now, could that, in theory, then absorb a lot of the Bitcoin that is on exchanges, because they have to hold the BTC in order to fund the ETF. So this becomes a pretty critical thing, because there's not as much BTC on exchanges to be absorbed. There's a lot of it that's still being held off exchanges, which means that we could see a real big price increase. Now, is it going to get to 100K? I don't know that we're going to see it hit that. If we do, I don't think it's going to be until not till September timeframe. That's my personal opinion on it.
How
What
about
I've been
yourself, Leo? That's really interesting. And maybe just to add to the conversation, do you think the price of with what's happening with the ETF is priced in at the moment, or do you think the pricing in is yet to come?
um I was talking to Vince. Well, he was talking to me, and he was mentioning about the scarcity and how they're going to decrease the hash rate, and how it's coming out. So that's going to make it more scarce and more valuable. So, I mean, I got to go off of that, what he was saying, how it's going to increase the price. But what he said in the beginning, though, I'm vice versa. So what I was doing is, like, for an example, this meme coin from AVAX, of all, I've been taking my profits and putting into XRP, but I'm done with that now. So now I'm going to be doing like Vince, he took BTC and then he put it into altcoins. So I'm going to start doing the opposite now. I'm going to put my balls profit into BTC now and start building that.
Yeah, I think there's some pretty good strategies that people can have. I think it kind of really depends too on where you're at in your portfolio and your entries, and anything that you're looking at. I know that I had seen a little bit of crypto Twitter chatter that the ETFs were even priced in already lower than the 45 that we're at. I don't know, man. It's just I think the market makers are going to do what they're going to do, and we just have to kind of play along with the game. Um, that's my opinion because we don't know where they're going to actually take it. Uh, Now, is Bitcoin's price going to reflect as it goes up in price because the U.S. dollar is losing its value? That's something to consider as well.
It's very true. Very true. I'm thinking also about a lot of the macroeconomic stuff happening, obviously, with Ukraine as well as Israel/Palestine. It's all going to be very interesting. But we have got BS has come to the stage. Welcome, BS. Nice to meet you. And yeah, what are your thoughts on this conversation?
I literally, can you hear me first of all?
We
Nice,
sure
because I
can.
had no idea if my headphones would work. So I just popped on this and heard you guys talking about the ETF and basically the consumption of Bitcoin that's about to happen to fill these coffers for these ETFs. Arthur
Mm-hmm.
Hayes, I want to say it was this week or last week. Actually, it was probably 2 weeks ago now, maybe. He put out an interesting article talking about how the consumption of Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is going to have mining rewards until I think like 2135, long past our days. But as these ETFs consume Bitcoin and keep it stationary, Bitcoin will actually start losing some of its benefits as being an asset that needs to actually move to generate the user fees and things like that. So while the price goes up potentially as the happenings happen, there's always the chance that the rewards will become more beneficial in the future, and the potential of these ETFs consuming all the Bitcoin and keeping it stationary, causing a real issue down the line. Now, again, this is me regurgitating some stuff that I read down the road, but it also sits pretty well in understanding for me.
Yeah, I think you'll see some price stability, basically, right? Because
No,
it'll be
no, exactly the opposite. You might actually see if Bitcoin stops moving too much, you might actually see miners shutting down and Bitcoin losing its velocity and potential, because without the movement, you lose the fees. And as the mining rewards go down, the fees are going to be what make up the back end.
okay. Now, I wonder how much of that impact is going to be made because now you have not only do you have BTC, but you got BTC ordinals. You've got BRC tokens
These all help it.
on there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I think for us, in our particular case, we look forward to having mining rewards for years to come because it being the backbone to it and being able to acquire any Bitcoin from mining at below spot prices. So being able to accumulate and just kind of take that and stick it into a wallet and keep it for long term value is beneficial. But I'm definitely going to take advantage of some of the price action for now and reinvest in order to build up my portfolio. That's how I'm looking at it. I got some that's going to a long term wallet to hold, and part of it I'm reinvesting
That
in.
long-term wallet you hold, you might have a opportunity to talk to an accountant and set it up in a form or fashion that you could set it up at kind of like IRA type potential thing where you have it, like if you were to, as you put it in there and it grows, if you treat it like an IRA, there's a chance the tax implications could be different. I mean, that's more of a Roth IRA than an IRA. Anyhow, there's things you could do that you might be able to set it up as a retirement fund if you don't touch it and you know that it's going to be sitting there. But this is something you'd have to talk to an accountant about, but something that I've also heard other people doing in the crypto industry that have been here for a while. Same idea long term.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for
that's what I
sure. I'm gonna pipe in here just for a second, Leo, and then I'll pass the mic back over to you if you don't mind. But there's what I would like to do with it would be to take all my crypto and donate it, all of it, just donate it all. But obviously donate it to a charitable trust where I can control it,
I mean,
and then the trust manages
that's
it.
pretty cool. I want to never mine fiat and only live on crypto. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That would be great. I would love to be able to do that. Actually, I think I'm in a position right now where I'm actually in a career transition where I'm thinking of leaving healthcare where I'm at and moving into crypto and blockchain technology as my next career because I see the industry growing so much within the next 3 to 5 years, that if I can kind of plant my feet firmly in it now, that I'll have a better position in 3 to 5. That once I'm done with mining my fiat, then I'll be able to absolutely walk away from that aspect of it and purely live off of what I've managed to robustly accumulate through crypto wealth and playing it smartly through finance. And I think that's one of the things that we have to, especially if you're investing in crypto. We are still absolutely so early to it where I have not checked the market cap today, but yesterday I was looking at it. It was like 1.68 trillion. Um, and at the height of Bitcoin being at 69K, we were sitting at like 3.2 trillion. And we're not even there yet as far as the overall crypto market cap. And then, we've talked a lot about these ETFs, whether I think there's two camps to this, right? They're either going to be, they might be good for price appreciation, but might ultimately be negative from the standpoint of do the ETFs actually create more centralization of Bitcoin rather than its original purpose of decentralization? I don't know if anybody else in the room has any thoughts. Anybody's welcome to come up and talk about this as well. The more opinions we have, the better the conversation, because we know how to respectfully do that within our channels here and our spaces, because we want to hear differences of opinions. I want to be able to hear what other people are hypothesizing and thinking in their minds, because I think that's the best way to go about learning is through collaboration of thought. Just my opinion.
good opinion.
yeah, years ago, when I set up my Roth IRA, it was 7K max a year, but it was 100% pretty much strict stock. There wasn't a Roth that was connected to any crypto. So I don't know, with today's world, I bet that's changed. But and that's an area I'd like to go. I'd like to start researching.
One of the funny things you said, I just pulled it up. We're currently at 1.8 trillion as far as market cap. And the funny part of that, with BlackRock's ETF coming out, they have 9.4 trillion under management. You know what I mean? Like, the market cap of cryptocurrency currently is so small that as we start breaking into some of these things, and if we're lucky, we start getting some people like Leo and investors with him putting in some of these retirement funds into some of these long-term holds, starting to stake some ETH into some of these miners, getting 4 or 5% back year after year, not worrying about selling it, just letting the long-term hold run. And these would be great plays that I won't lie, I'm going to try and suggest to you guys as we go down the line, because just so you know, I'm not just BS, I'm also BJ.
I thought that voice was very familiar. I was like, man, he sounds a lot like BJ.
I recognized. I know this voice, and then I clicked. This is the Vaporfly guys. It's
Well, so this brings up a pretty good point too, as well, right? I mean, So what if through say through crypto mining, and I brought this up before too, is amassing Bitcoin through mining, getting it at a cheaper price in spot, but never just sticking it away and using it as collateral to actually take out loans against, right? And then putting that money then into another asset class that's producing you additional revenue, right? Paying back your loan for you and then getting your Bitcoin back, right? And just using it as an asset for leverage, but never truly then parting with it.
I mean, that's truly the essence of DeFi when you get down to the nitty gritty, right? Take your ETH, deposit it into Compound, over collateralized, take out a loan, take that loan, go buy some ETH, sell it at the top of the next bull. You know what I mean? Like, get in now when ETH's 2,000, take out, whatever, $500 to $1,000 of your over collateralized loan, buy $1,000 more of ETH. Now when that, if it's running up and you can sell it off as you go, great. If you can invest it in something and make more in interest in the money you took out in another DeFi project, well, I believe that is a huge factor in the way the DeFi and current crypto community plays, which I have not really delved into yet, because I also see the rabbit being pulled out of the hat, being put back in the hat, being pulled out of the hat, being put back in the hat, being pulled out of the hat. And that starts getting a little tricky, and kind of reminds me a little bit of fractionalized banking style things.
Mm. Yeah, I got my lucky rabbit's foot.
Rub it all day.
Yeah, man, it definitely makes for a lot of great conversation of where things are going to go, because how far after a Bitcoin ETF gets approval are they going to push through an ETH
Month.
ETF? And, and they've already kind of, they had this little sneak out that of XRP ETF, and then you saw the price spike. And honestly, I think that if we're patient enough, if we are we have enough mental fortitude to deal with all the FUD and the bullshit that they're going to feed out in the marketplace, to not get pushed out of it, I think ultimately we will be well off in the end. It's just, I think they're going to make it as mentally challenging for a lot of people. And with these bull traps, with bear traps, I think they're really going to mess with our heads a lot in the market. And that's why I think you're better off, instead of, pick your poison when it comes to what you're trading, and then leave your long-term holds, uh, your plays for utility tokens, things that you think that you're going to see around the next 3 to 5 years. Move to those plays. A small venture capital bag that you can afford to play around with, and maybe make your 50 to 100 X's, and then reinvest into some of your major utilities or your blue chips.
When it comes to the two words you just used, trading and investing, this is something that I believe the crypto community uses interchangeably, mistakenly, or like incorrectly. Like, you don't want to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been a crypto trader now for 2 years, very unsuccessfully, and actually looking to get back into the workforce. It kind of all worked out that I moved cross country, all kinds of things happened. I was unemployed, so I just kind of tried to do this for a few years. But I successfully do not sit at my computer at the moments that I see the trades happen post hence, right? Like, after they've happened, I'm like, where was I? Why didn't I take this trade? And then you got to be careful not to chase your way in. So, of all the people here, and I'm not a knowledgeable person, I know enough to be dangerous. Be careful when you use the words trading and investing. Make sure you know what your trading account is and the size of it. And I would encourage you never to make trades of more than 1%, but do as you do. And then, because then you have 100 trade potential of screwing up, right?
Oh, come on, that's what margin trading's for. Let's have some fun. Let's live
I'm not saying
dangerously.
don't use leverage. I'm just saying manage your risk. Like I got one buddy, he's out 100K, right? He got his wallet got hacked. He made some bad trades, thinking that his investments were trades. I made bad trades, thinking having somebody breathing down my neck about how much money I was making every day. So I was messing with my investments, trying to turn a profit daily. Huge mistake. It was my biggest mistake of 2021, right? Like it was just error. So just be careful using those two words and make sure you acknowledge the investment and the trading accounts. Trading accounts, move them around daily, weekly, do as you do. But investments, maybe, you know, try and catch the top of the bulls and then just be patient for the buyback in prices and things like that. Like there's no rush.
Yeah, I would say that's a very tough lesson for a lot of folks to learn is let the market do what it's going to do. Don't go chasing it and forcing it to do something just because that's what you want. Um, there's been a few times where you know that FOMO kind of kicks in, man, and you're like, do I? Yeah, you know, and you literally I'm looking at the chart and I'm thinking, man, I think it's gonna pull back into this zone. Using a Fibonacci tool, trend line, you know, horizontal, you know, resistance support kind of thing. I think it's going to pull back into this and just sit back and wait. And sure enough, it's what it does, right? Let the market do what it's going to do.
Always,
But you have to be prepared for it to go against you. It can still do that, even though you do your best to prepare.
when it comes to your trading account too, the best thing I've heard since I started as a trader was there's always another trade. Don't beat yourself off. Don't beat yourself up over the one you miss because there's always another one right around the corner. Just be patient for your trigger signals to show up again.
Yeah. Yep.
I got a question for Mark. Since he's, you know, more experienced than me. So when you and in one of the DMs that you said if you really believe in something and you pull the trigger, my question to you is you trust it because you believe in it. But my question to you is how often do you look at the charts? How often do you, or you just set it and forget it? But how often do you look at it? Because me, I can't stop, and it's so hard. I just wanted your advice on that.
I've changed my tune a little bit on that, right? Because I think when I originally got into crypto 2017, then probably all the way even into the last bull run, I've always had probably come in with like a real traditional investor mindset. That's always been my mindset is like, okay, I've come in, I've done my homework on the fundamentals, and I believe in the fundamentals of this project or token or NFT or what have you. And so now I'm going to grab it and I'm going to sit on it. I think that approach probably, I mean, it's good if you're looking at some sort of Charlie Munger fucking 20-year play. Like, it is a good idea, but I'd like to make some money a little bit quicker than that. So my view now is just my personal circumstance. I don't like to just analyze charts and look at charts all day. I'm more of I guess, a big picture thinker, but I would like to engage in some strategic, I guess, sniper type trading, essentially swing trading during this, this next bull run, but nothing fancy. I think it's just going to be like literally as simple as when I see any sort of pullback in the range of 10%, I'm going to buy. And then when I see a bump back up, of 10+%, I'm going to sell back in. So I think that will be my approach, but I don't know, specific to your question, looking at charts, I don't know. I think that's a lot of that's to do with your personality and your character. I wouldn't, if you really enjoy that, I wouldn't fight it. I'd utilize the strength of that. Like, it's not something that I enjoy to do all the time, which is constantly look at charts, but I know some people fucking love it. So that's my view, bro. But that's just my personal circumstance.
Could I add a little something to that?
Yeah, of course, man.
I like everything you just said too. One thing, Leo, I think if you, I know you just took a trading course thing recently, I believe. Know your time frames you're looking at, and I would encourage you to find confirmation in the next higher or even a couple higher time frames. So like for my example, I really love trading the 4 hour, 8, 12 and daily. Those are my jelly. And the dailies I love the most because they're so calm, they're so patient. I only have to look at the charts once a day. But once these bull runs start, oh my God, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, they're so sexy and fun. Just be careful though. And like I said, manage your risk.
Risk it all.
You're crazy. I did that. Don't do that.
I got balls because I got balls.
Hey guys, why don't we talk about balls? I'd like to hear about balls. Yeah, I really would. Now that we've got the boys here, I'd like to hear like what was the thinking behind launching that token? What was the strategy you guys used to get it going, and how is it going?
I'll let Leo kind of take. He knows more about it than I do. And I think it really started off as a
Yeah, he's got more balls than you for sure.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and he does. He's got more balls. He's got a bigger sack of balls than I do.
Did you guys create a token?
No, another group did, and it literally is called Balls on You.
Very nice.
Well, I think that
It's not a show. I don't actually know anything about it. I know Leo wanted to talk about balls on you.
This is so.
I think they're going after some of the market that's been created by Cock and You. That's pretty big on AVAX as well, right? Because I think that there's a few meme coins that have really launched on AVAX. I'm not sure if they had any of the last bull run or not. I don't know, Leo.
Not with vapor decks, just and I wasn't here, so I don't know.
Yeah, the essentially though, because there's a lot of meme coins that are honey pots and stuff like that. So what Vaporfy has done is they've used their launch platform, the Vapor Dex. What they've done is they've created a contract on there that's basically been validated. They know, and they're going to use the launch pad that they have through Vaporfy to they help projects launch, but also to validate who the originators are of those contracts, right? To essentially uh, validate them so that they know that they're not honeypots. There's not bad code in it, and such as that, so that people can play around with these meme coins, but know that it's not just going to be like a rug and get completely taken, right? So, obviously, creating a little bit more of a safe space by validating who the originators are and some of the platform behind it and stuff like that. So that's essentially what I kind of know of it. I mean, it's it's a meme coin. I think they're even looking now at doing an NFT, and if you have so much balls in your sack, then you'll be able to get airdropped an NFT with it as well. So they're kind of creating a community space and community involvement, even looking to do a DAO with it as well. But it's kind of maybe even the next progression of developing a whole community around a meme coin. So that's kind of what I know about it as far as what I've experienced so far. But if anybody else has any information on it, they'd like to share too. I mean, we're happy to talk about it. Um, and I think that they still have a relatively low market cap compared to the Cock coin.
Yes, we do. We're currently at about 1% of their market cap.
Yeah. Yeah. How familiar are you with it, Brandon?
I'm one of the people that started it.
Oh, there you go. Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Then, was I
Yeah.
fairly close?
Yes, you were. We literally just started it because we needed to find a way to get vapor decks to have more volume. So
Understandable.
so it's basically the marketing strategy we're using, and I've been a guide in there for a year plus now, and a member of the community for like 2 to 3 years. So I am. So basically, we started, and I wanted a name that would really catch on, and we went with Balls on You because, well, it's hysterical hearing people talk about it.
Absolutely, it is. Especially when you start bringing in some of the other acronyms and things that go along with it. And yeah, and I'm looking at sitting at like a 1.5 million market cap right now,
Yeah,
compared to Cock that's sitting at 130 million. That means it has a lot of room to grow.
yeah.
No pun intended.
I mean, with both of us, with both myself and the dev being doxed, I mean, we can't rug pull. We've burnt the proof of liquidity that was the initial liquidity. And let's face it, I mean, everyone's going to come after me if we rug. So, I mean, it's we're going to do everything in our power to create as many use cases for it as possible.
Heck
Um,
yeah. I've been in. Sorry to kind of cut you off, but I've been in Vaporify. I still have my nodes running, my Vapor nodes that are still going and still collecting some VPND. I kind of wanted to. What is it burning the initial liquidity mean for a project in its overall tokenomics? Would you mind going into that a little bit for the audience?
okay, so when you put liquidity into a pool, what happens is you pair it with AVAX. In our case, it was 69 AVAX to 69.42 trillion balls. And then it gives you a token that's called a VaporDex Liquidity Provider Token, or VLP for short. So what we did was we took that VLP token, which is what you have to withdraw your liquidity.
Okay.
We sent it to the dead wallet.
So, so essentially, then that liquidity cannot be removed. Then,
Ever.
correct? Okay.
So there's no way that the initial liquidity can ever be pulled out, and the team had no funds that we got right off the bat. Every funds that we have are because we've bought them like everyone else.
Oh, huge! That huge balls.
It's basically aligning the team's interest fully with yours.
Okay, I like
Uh,
that. I like that.
when you look at things like the stock market, um, the the companies are not always aligned with both their investors and the consumer. There's often policies in place that make it where they're more aligned with either the investors or the consumer, but not both. In our scenario, we are both the investor and the consumer, so we are perfectly aligned with y'all. And when we see when y'all see a problem, we see it too.
Okay. Now, bringing this volume to Vapor Dex, and what is kind of the implications of uh, is it just bringing awareness to Vapor Dex itself, and what does that mean for those that are involved, with Vaporfy and things like that too, as well? Does the entire ecosystem benefit from having all this traffic? I'm assuming as well. This volume that's flowing?
It does. For one, the way Vapor Dex works, the liquidity pools, there's two ways when you swap that you can get the coins. One way that people swap, um, if we have enough liquidity on the Dex for the coin, it goes through us. And in that scenario, the people who are providing the liquidity get all the fees. Now, when we don't have enough liquidity on the Dex, it works as an aggregator.
Gotcha.
And in that scenario, Vaporify gets the fees, which pay for stuff like the team. So it benefits everyone who holds VPND because then they're getting more USDC going to the team, which means it can fund the USDC liquidity mining through Vape, which Vapes earn through VPND. So I mean, it just creates a full loop basically, and makes it where everyone's returns go up, and overall they end up, the whole community does better, the team can build more, and we all just benefit.
I saw the it kind of creates a whole ecosystem around it. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, it keeps what do we want? Currency, right? We want that. We want it flowing.
Yes, the velocity of money in crypto is definitely one of the key things that impacts the success of it.
Interesting. So then, what do you guys have next? I think I caught the NFT. What is the NFT? What's the goal of that purpose there? And then behind that, what's the thought process?
So the thought process behind the NFT is that the community's been requesting them. We're working with an artist to design quite a few of them. Anyone holding over 6.942 billion coins will be getting an airdrop, but we will also have some that are sold, hopefully, in exchange for balls, at which point uh that will help us develop a marketing budget to work with influencers, that will help us be able to partner with other projects and to build. So it's going it and it will just basically make it where we can start right now. Everyone on the team is working for free. And that's normal. But I mean, but as time goes on for it to grow, like it takes a dev, and Mijas is busy. He's got years worth of building to do for VaporDex. So at some point, bringing on another dev would be really beneficial for us all.
Yeah. Did you guys? So, did your dev come from within Vaporify itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I think that's probably one of been the biggest things. Is man, there's a lot of devs out there, but they're not all created equal, right? So, just as in any profession, that once you find a good dev that knows exactly what they're doing, you better hold on to them like they're gold, right?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, but that's the thing is, Mijas is primary to VaporDex, and then when he can help us, he will. So I mean, having someone who can do most of the work, and then Mijas check it, can be very beneficial.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that, my man. Well, I know I'm definitely holding on to my balls, and I don't want to expose how much I truly have, but it's definitely creates a lot of fun commentary. I've seen some of the joking going on inside your guys' Discord, so it's definitely a fun environment. So I'll say keep up the good work. Hope things grow.
Great. Thank you for your time, y'all.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Vince had a question and I didn't have the answer to, but is COQ the first meme coin on AVAX ever?
I don't think it's the first, but it's definitely the most successful.
What do you think has led to their success, Brandon? Marketing?
Uh, first, first the name. I mean, let's face it. Anytime you're telling dick jokes,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's going to attract people's attention.
Yep.
Second of all, they're from the chicken community, which is a fairly large community on AVAX.
Okay.
So they had a built-in following already.
Got you. Yeah, that helps huge if you got a community behind you.
And that's the same way with Vaporfy. I mean, right now we're probably at about 20% of, well, probably more than that. We're at about 20% of active their regular participants. So we still have a long way to go because I mean people come a lot of the people in the community only come by like once a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So having a community that you're part of, that you spin another project off of, really helps.
Sure.
Like, I would suggest, like, personally, I don't know if y'all have any plans to do this, but if I were y'all, I'd do something similar to what you're doing on ETH on AVAX.
Yeah, we have a for Xeno we have and Dogface Labs we have an internal ERC20 token. Since we're mostly a veteran or we are a veteran project, we actually called it ammo,
Mhm.
and it will be tied to a liquidity pool once we finish selling out our NFTs for Xeno mining. And then that will bring additional, and we have some benefits to holding ammo as well. Just we stuck with some of the acronyms revolving around the veteran community. So, but we do have some ballers in our group, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Now, have you considered bringing some people over, or some basically duplicating a similar project on AVAX as well?
Yeah, I think that and Mark can speak to this a little bit more. Like we're looking at other chains. We already have done a lot of the foundational work behind launching an XRP project. We have the art done for that. We've collated all the information for traits, and we're getting ready to launch that. And we're looking at Bitcoin ordinals, but we have talked about even AVAX, Polygon, some other chains too as well, because we do have a large collection in our roadmap for the future. So we will be looking at other chains. I know I've been a fan of AVAX. I know we have some people that are fans of AVAX because it does move so quickly. The fees are pretty cheap on there as well. And I'm sure that we will be having some talks with VaporDex and VaporFi should that day come and we do anything with AVAX, because I know that community is already there. I'm sure we could tie something in with that because I know we have some VaporFi fans also inside of our Xeno mining as well.
Yeah, it would do. I definitely think that it would do really well. So far, we haven't really had much success with partnering with people who have been on other chains, it just hasn't, it doesn't yield the same results as when we partner with people on the same chain.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting to me because I think, as smart investors, I don't think each chain has its benefits. And it has its drawbacks too, right? So,
Mhm.
but I think that if you become too tribalistic in one chain, I think there's a lot of other good things that you can miss out because, we've discovered some really great communities, on AVAX, on XRP. And that's why for us, we look at it more of a global picture. We kind of zoom out and kind of say, hey, there's a lot of great communities that are off of, well, we're on ETH right now. So outside of the ETH, even though there's a lot of volume on ETH, but there's a lot of other great communities out there that have some really good followings, really good people, really good vibes that fit with what we're trying to achieve as well. So I think, again, anytime you get stuck in an echo chamber, I think you kind of miss out on some of the benefits of connecting and collaborating with other people and other communities.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that. I mean, one of the people that we're working with is a Solana developer. Another one is an Algorand NFT creator that came over because of Avax's meme seasons. So we're networking with other chains, but it's definitely hard, especially for smaller teams, to be able to keep track of what all is going on. I mean, there's like 50 different layer 1 and layer 2s. So I mean, it's really hard to keep track on what's going on with all of them, unless you have like a specific person dedicated to that, like really pays attention to that chain and keeps people up to date.
Yeah, I will agree. This space is moving so fast. When you miss a day and it feels like you've missed a week, right?
Yep. All right. Well, I feel like I'm kind of hogging the conversation, so I'm going to let other people talk.
Yeah, no worries, Brandon. Appreciate you coming up and sharing that, man. Because, I definitely have loved some of the conversation around it and the banter going around on crypto Twitter as well. So I'm down to have a good time with it. And some of this, being myself and from Chicago, we're very sarcastic here. At least I am. I love the sarcasm. And definitely have a room for humor. And I think we all need a little bit of that in today's day and age. So if you guys haven't got some balls yet, then go get some.
You should make a Flick the Bean one since Chicago.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that information, man. I really do. Hope you guys learned something from Brandon as well. Let's have some fun around that and get some balls. And all right, Mark, where you want to go from here, my man?
I was actually enjoying that from Brandon because it's very rare that you get an insight from somebody running one of these meme tokens. People are generally, but like Brandon was saying, people are generally not doxxed and not worried about going to prison. Generally, so it's very, very cool, man. I really like what you guys are doing. I think speaking to what Vince was talking about going cross chain. I think the real challenge is the technology and learning curve of different chains. That's the only thing I think that really holds me back. Really, of just getting a bit deeper into chains like AVAX. But what I'd like to know, Brandon, just even though you've said you don't want to talk anymore, I'm going to ask you more questions. How do you feel that the AVAX? There's a lot of discussion around the AVAX gaming community. and that's going to be a big thing during this next bull run. Do you guys feel like you can tap into that through what you're doing? And what's your views on that coming into the bull run?
So I think gaming is definitely going to be a big part of crypto. For one, gamers tend to be first adopters. Um, of course, you have to create games that they enjoy. And I mean, we're seeing some with Shrapnel and Playable are seem to be taking approaches that are working and will hopefully over time end up bringing a lot of people in. Overall, I think what Apex is really good with is looking at how are businesses going to use crypto in specific, because I mean, let's face it, it's something that's mostly business oriented. It's a database. And I mean, how many people actually have their own personal database? Probably, I know I don't. Do y'all?
I'll let you take this one, Mark.
No.
Okay.
In a word.
So I mean, I think definitely what they're looking at from targeting businesses is really going to be beneficial long term. Short term, I think we're still a long ways out because it's still complicated. I mean, if you've ever bought anything with crypto as opposed to with normal money, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think that keeps a lot of people when they look at what a wallet is, or MetaMask, or connecting to a DApp. But yeah, there definitely is a learning curve, and you have to be open to that process, kind of understanding what the value proposition is by learning those skills. I think that's part of that conversation of why people tend not to self custodian their own crypto, right? And they just, if they're going to buy and if they're looking to invest or trade, they tend to do it on a centralized exchange rather than going through a DEX, right?
Yep. And when we find a way with DeFi where where it can be as seamless as a bank, um, I think it will attract a lot of attention. But that's going to require completely rethinking how we're doing stuff. And I know I don't have the development skill set to implement it. I could probably I could probably help test it and be able to say, oh, this is still too complicated. But I mean, it's gonna be a challenge to get it to where it's friendly for the average person.
Yeah, I think they still have a little bit of ways to go to more streamlined process of onboarding folks. Um, yeah, I think that's probably one of our bigger challenges. But I think that uh, because that is a challenge, those of us who have embraced that skill set and that learning curve are going to stand to benefit quite a bit from that as well. Embracing the technology, even though it has some of its drawbacks. I think that's definitely going to help. Like I said, those of us who have taken the plunge and and grown our balls big enough to dip in the water.
So the good news is there's sites like Third Web where some of the advancements that companies are using, for instance, create a wallet with email where it ends up working like it ends up feeling very similar to any Web 2 experience, but lets you, but also gives you full custody of the assets if you want them. Um, there's developments like that that are getting easier to implement, which means hopefully the next generations of crypto will get even closer to Web 2 interoperability.
Yeah. Now, do you think if they're using email type onboarding, that I think that even lends even more importance than for email security then too, right?
Yeah, it is. And that's a potential concern. But I mean, I don't know. It's a real challenge because we're mixing economics, social interaction, and finance together. It's a complex setup, and we'll get it over time, but it's going to be baby step, baby step, baby step, big leap, baby step, and then one day it will just be the whole technology's got caught up with Web 2. So that's my views on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Mark, you got more questions? I don't want
Nah,
I don't
man.
want to hog the space, you know.
No, I don't. I think it's been a great space. We've had a good chat about Bitcoin to 100K. It was really cool to have a catch up with BJ and also hear from Brandon with our partners over there at Vaporfy. I think it'd be very, very cool to actually get our community into the Vaporfy Discord to actually get a proper update and or do something. Like the Vaporfy community did a lot for us, in our launch, and we've got some really loyal guys in there. So I think we definitely want to return the favor, and what goes around comes around, and at least sit down and hear about it. So I'd love to tee that up, Brandon, if we could, maybe an official space or something in your Discord would be very cool.
Maybe we could do a little testicular analysis too.
Reach out to Renegade in the Discord. He's the
Did
community.
you say reach out, or reach around? I didn't.
Hey, either one's fine with. I'm sure we'll be fine with him.
Oh, you were better reach down and then reach around, huh?
Or reach back, look back, something, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, enough dick sex jokes for today. It's really funny, the meme culture. I was reading an article on LinkedIn. It's essentially what the monetization of internet culture and humor. I didn't get it. I don't think I really got it for a long time, like why they were so popular, because when you're just a logical thinker, it makes no sense to you. It's what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, I think the pennies dropped for me now that I understand it is that monetization of humor and culture, which is very cool. But I got nothing else, Vince. I know we got a team meeting, a bit of stuff to catch up on as well, coming up shortly. But yeah, BJ, if you want to have a few words, mate, or BSB/BJ, if you want a few words before we go, Leo, and then yeah, we'll wrap up.
I really don't have anything. I was just stoked to come up and chat a bit as you guys were talking about the ETF thing, and I've been reading a lot about it lately. You guys do great. Keep these spaces up, man. I love it. I love jumping in here when I can.
Hey, things are about to go parabolic.
Just all over the place with the balls.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for hosting. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me come up and co-host with you. Leo, I'll pass the mic over to you. Any final words, and then we'll wrap up the space.
Yeah, we need to have Mark take a risk and grow a pair.
Yeah, ball's in your court, Mark.
Oh, thanks, guys. This has been funny and really enjoyable. But, Have a good evening, guys, over in the States. To the peeps over here in New Zealand. What time we got? 2 p.m. Have a good arvo. And yeah, take care, everybody. Stay safe out there on your holiday if you're having a holiday, and look forward to catching up next time.
Yeah, those Kiwis got some hairy balls.
Yes, we do. And sheep balls. Have you ever seen the size of sheep balls? Let's not get started. They are tremendous. But anyway, see you guys.
Have a good one.